All right, I'm glad to be back with you. Now, we've covered a lot of ground so far. Strengths, weaknesses, needs, manipulating words. But mostly, you've been working on what that means for you. You've looked at your temperament, your strengths and weaknesses. You spent time this week defining your needs. That's the foundation of this framework. You've got to know that stuff first. And getting yourself healthy, working from your strengths, is definitely step one. As Kathleen puts it, you can't give what you don't have. It's like when the flight attendant says, put your own oxygen mask on first before assisting others. We've got to start by working on ourselves. So if that's where we stopped, you'd have taken some big steps. You'd hopefully have lots of takeaways. Understanding your own temperament will definitely improve your communication. But we don't want to stop there. That's only half the puzzle. We want to apply it to others. Ephesians 4:29 isn't about how others talk to us. It's about how we talk to others. And the win is right there at the end of the verse, that it may benefit all who listen. Building others up with our words is good for them, but it's also good for us. It benefits all. So let me tell you a quick story that proves that point. My friend struggled for months to get her daughter out of bed in the mornings for school. My friend is red, so she'd bust in the door, throw on the lights, and bark, "Time to get up." Then every 5 minutes, she'd come back and yell, "Hurry up, you've got to move faster." And the more she yelled, the slower her daughter went. Until my friend figured out that her daughter's temperament is green, which means she needs harmony and lack of stress, the exact opposite of what she was getting. Is anyone else having a light bulb moment? This exact same scene happens at my house like every single morning. Maybe yours too. So anyway, the next morning my friend ditched the yelling and instead sat down, rubbed her daughter's back, and told her breakfast was ready whenever she got dressed. And you know what? It worked. She was up and out the door, and it didn't require any yelling. And the best news for my red friend, it was so much more efficient. To use Paul's words, it benefited all. Letting temperaments guide how you talk to people is a win-win. So I bet you've been thinking about someone as we've gone along. Maybe something Leslie said sounded just like your mom, or Jeremy reminds you of that guy on your team, or maybe you wish you could figure out the temperament of someone in your life. You're wondering, how can I get them to take the assessment? That's great. We want you to be curious. We hope considering other people's temperaments is a habit for the rest of your life. Kathleen's going to show us how we can figure it out without making them take any tests. Let's jump back in with her.
Welcome back. This is the session that I really like a lot because this is where in my office people are really just throwing descriptive words around, right? And they're almost recklessly putting people in boxes, okay? And that looks like this. Leslie, oh, she's such a good leader. She's red. Or Tony, she's so funny. She's yellow. That quickly we're putting people in boxes. And this isn't about putting people in boxes. This is about understanding people to the core.
For sure.
Because what we want to understand is Leslie is a dynamic leader. She's wired to be a dynamic leader of tasks, but Jeremy's a great leader of people. Okay? So what we understand is you're innately wired to be a leader, but all the temperaments can be a good leader. Okay, you don't own, the cholerics don't own leadership, just like for the sanguines. They don't own funny. They're fun to be around, they're fun in groups, but they're not owning funny. In fact, the melancholies are very funny. Most of the famous comedians of the world, which you are going to be one day, are melancholies, right? So we want to try to be very careful about putting people from descriptive words into categories, okay? What we want to find out is what's in their core, what's really motivating them. We want to find out what's the why behind their behavior, okay? We want to be very careful we're not reacting to the what's they're saying or doing, but we're responding to the whys that they're saying or doing it. So in that gray area that I spoke about before, when Leslie talks, I hear. And when I talk, she hears. So there's all this gray area that we want to address. So if she and I went to a luncheon, we're laughing and joking and telling stories, we have a great friendship or relationship, but we may leave that lunch and I'm thinking, did she really hear me? Does she really understand what I said? And she may be thinking, is Kathleen going to get that done? I'm not sure she's going to get that done. I don't know if she got the bottom line, right? Because I'm in my lens and my thought, and she's in hers, right? So we really want to take that and get it to here. So that I'm saying words that build her up so she doesn't leave wondering. And she the same to me. So we're loving each other better. Okay? So that's what we want to do. We want to make sure that we're doing that and we're understanding people to the core. So tell me, Tony, tell me a little bit about somebody you might be curious about.
So I think we're still in the newlywed phase, my husband and I. We're 2 years into the game, almost. And so I'm just trying to figure out what he is. We spend a lot of time together.
Okay.
And we spend lots of time personally, ministry-wise, so there's business there, it's kind of all mixed up.
Okay.
And so I feel like I'm experiencing him just in all these different ways. And so I'm just trying to figure out what's the consistency and the color.
Yeah. One of the goals in my office is that people stay in honeymoon relationship. Because when people get married, they've thrown all their strengths on the table while they're dating, if you remember. And what happens once you get married is, guess what starts rearing its head? The weaknesses. And we immediately start to try to change that person to be more like us. So that's the first thing you want to be aware of is this confusion because I'm moving away from the things that drew me to Sam. So what I want you to do really quick, I want you to tell me 3 reasons why you fell in love with him. Really quick.
Okay.
Why?
So
I know it's like
I'm
a
sorry.
game. It's
Honeymoon,
a game.
honeymoon,
Just tell me.
Okay, it's okay.
What did you love about him?
I'm so overwhelmed.
It's fun. There's no timer.
He's so funny. He's so funny.
Okay,
And
he's very funny.
life of the party.
Okay.
Loud laugh.
Loud.
Him and I have like a very similar laugh, so that's very
Great.
fun.
Okay.
He's just such a great leader.
Okay.
He's a leader worth following. He's very dominant. He knows where he's going.
Okay.
He's so confident. That's
Right.
the third one, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, it's like second, third.
Okay.
But he's so confident.
Okay.
He's fearless. He knows who he is. He's not changing. He's not bending. He knows like exactly what he wants all the time.
There.
And so yeah.
So when you explain,
This is good fast.
no,
Okay.
that's good. But that's what I do because
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I ask that question in my office, and 100% of the time, and this is no exaggeration, in decades, people will describe their spouse when they were dating in their strengths.
Yeah.
Because you threw your strengths on the table.
Yeah.
You were your best version of you, right? And what I heard you say for Sam was fearless, leader, knows himself, authentic, right? But funny and fun to be with.
Yeah.
He's up there. I would say he's probably definitely a choleric, a red yellow, right? But isn't that what you are as well?
I'm a yellow red.
Okay.
So I don't know if that makes a
So
difference.
you have 2 people that are loud and powerful.
Yes.
So, Andrew, who are you most curious about?
Yeah, I'm a little bit curious about my brother.
Okay.
Because we're pretty close in age and grew up together, and we
Okay.
always seem to kind of contrast each other personality-wise.
All right.
So I don't think he's a blue.
Okay. You didn't sit quietly and read books or anything, or
No.
play Legos?
No.
No?
Unless I was doing it, then he could come knock him over.
There, there you go.
But I am interested to know how much of that is being a younger brother and wanting attention, and how much of it might be him just being a different personality type.
Yeah.
Because I knew that he always did want attention from me.
Okay. What did
And-
that look like?
So we lived in the same room until I think I was 12, and then I
Okay.
got my own room, which I was very happy about.
I
And
bet
he
you
was
were.
Like, what am I
That
supposed
was
to
a
do with my own
celebration.
room?
Did he really react like that?
I think
what
so,
am I
yeah.
supposed to do with all this space?
Right. He
Yeah.
was like, I got 2 sinks. I don't know.
What am I going to do with that other sink, right?
But then my parents were trying to be intentional about respecting that I had my own room now. So they said, you can't go in Andrew's room unless he invites you in. And so
how
I
did
did
that
not
work?
invite him in
Zero
very often.
invitations. Zero invitations.
Not a lot of
coming from
invitations.
you.
Yeah, they kept getting lost in the mail.
It's like, hey, I'm heading out. If you want to go in my room right now, it's perfectly fine.
Yeah, he's like, but also don't.
But
Don't touch anything.
Don't touch anything.
Right.
But he would come, and what he would do is he would stand as close to the edge of my room as he could, and stand there and just go, I'm not in your room. I'm not in your room.
It's a little taunt you.
And it would, and like you said, I would
Yeah.
get, instead of getting angry, I would get frustrated, and I wouldn't say I'm mad at you. I'd say you're annoying me.
Yep. Which is another
And
word for
and that
frustration.
happened a lot.
So what do you think now as you look back at that moment, seeing him stand on the other side of the threshold? What was he looking for from you?
Yeah, he was looking for affection from me and approval from me, but also he just liked to be with people.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was his brother. I was his peer in the house.
Yeah. And the closest to him, really.
Yes.
Yeah, right?
Yep.
So by default,
Right.
you know, without knowing the temperament stuff that you know now, where are you at now?
With what I think he is?
Yeah, where you're at in your relationship? Like,
Oh, we're
where are
great
you-
now.
You're
Well,
great
yeah,
now?
we're best friends now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
and that's
how
the
did
funny
you
thing.
get there? I'm curious because, you know, some of this you find out by trial and error.
Right.
You know, not just sitting in a group and learning about it, but
Right.
how did you get there?
Well, we stopped living in the same house.
Okay, there you go.
Step one.
Moved to
Check.
college.
Right.
It's okay.
But I think
Don't do that if you're married.
yeah, that's not necessarily
Yeah,
for
yeah.
everybody.
If you're married, stay at your house.
If you're married, stay at your house and work on some other skills.
Yep. Yep. So that's not always the answer.
Right.
But I think even though we didn't really know, you know, what our colors were or any
Right.
of this stuff, I think we did start to recognize what each other needed from the other
Okay.
person. Where I realized I need to give him attention sometimes and just be really intentional about doing that. And he realized he needed to give me more space. And if we were going to hang out, I probably needed us to have a plan and him not just come over.
Right. And just winging it.
But also, I learned to be more accepting of his kind of spontaneity and trying to embrace that in him, I think.
Right.
But it is funny to think back now. I'm thinking he's probably a yellow.
Yes.
But it's interesting to think back to our childhood and our dynamic, and now it makes so much sense to me why we had this kind of, why can't we ever be on the same page with
Because
what
you
we want
were
to do?
literally polar opposites
Right.
of each other, which really, truly, that's why opposites attract when you get married. Really, truly makes the strongest bond. But it takes the biggest sacrifice because their strengths are your weaknesses.
Right.
And your strengths are their weaknesses. But when we're willing not to stay in the strengths, he's annoying.
Right.
You know, you're too private. You know, what's wrong with you? You're too quiet. You're too frustrating, right? And we throw these things instead of what I love you said. You embraced his spontaneity, you know, and he's probably still like that now, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because people don't change. That's the thing. We're not going to change anybody. We're going to embrace them, and then we're going to love them better by influencing and understanding that their wiring is different for a purpose.
Have you come to appreciate his strengths?
Yeah, definitely. And it's great because he pushes me, and he knows kind of how to do that without overwhelming me. But when he kind of can recognize what my needs are, we kind of help each other pull into our directions, I think.
Leslie, do you have anybody you're curious about?
You know, it's an interesting stage in our life because my father, who's now 85, came to live with us 3 years ago, and he'll be with us for the rest of his life, which
Okay.
could be quite a while because his
Yeah.
health
And this
continues
is
to
your dad?
improve. My father.
Okay.
And I haven't lived with my father since I was 12 years old.
Oh,
So let's just
wow.
say I didn't tell you my age, but it was a long, long time ago. And so although I know him, I don't know him.
Okay.
And
Fair.
I haven't got a clue
Okay.
what temperament he is.
Okay. So tell me a little bit about what you do remember. Do you remember much as a child?
I remember him behind the newspaper when I was little.
Okay.
And impatient with us if we would try to interrupt him while he was behind the newspaper.
Okay.
He traveled a lot for work, so he was absent from the family a lot,
Okay.
even when my parents were still married. And
And what about now when you're
very
seeing
solitary, very solitary, but he
Okay.
loves his people.
his people?
His people. And
word
only
there.
his people. He's completely antisocial outside the family. And the people he's the most bonded to are the people he spent the most time with, which is actually his step-children, step-grandchildren, and step-great-grandchildren.
So there's a comfort there.
And now living here, he's most fond of the grandchildren who have been born since he moved here because he's been with them since birth. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Right.
So yeah, he's extremely deep on the relational side, but
Another keyword.
also very quiet in his
Okay.
daily routine. So
Yeah.
What do you think?
Sounds blue to
Yeah.
me.
Yeah. Do you like connect with that right there? Just
Absolutely.
did you hear the descriptive word she did use?
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
well, I definitely picked up on safety with him being more comfortable talking to the people that he's really familiar with and valuing that quality time.
Because we're nurturers.
Right.
The closer
absolutely.
you are, the more protective the blue is of
Okay.
that deep relationship of the people that they truly trust and love.
okay.
Yeah, and
right?
to know one of his or some of his grandkids since birth, I mean, that's very
Yeah.
deep.
Yeah.
That makes sense to me.
Yeah. What was your thing? How did
so
you
cool.
how did you connect with that? I really want to know that you're getting
No,
this. and-
honestly, it's interesting because I think I just keep getting shocked that there are people in this world that are just so different from me. And I guess what my aha moment was, honestly, how can I become someone and say words to someone like that? Who's just so, I couldn't even, the thoughts were running through my mind. I'm like, everybody's family. Yeah, I'm close to everybody.
yeah. And now you just
They're all my
heard.
friends,
Yeah.
you
That
know?
there's others that don't feel
But there's
and think
others,
that
and
way.
it's one of my questions were, how do I become that for someone? How do I get close enough so that they can nurture and feel safe?
And what do
so
you know
interesting.
now you could do?
Use words.
Yeah, I mean, you could use words
calm down
that
as well.
fill their love tank. Yeah, check yourself. Are you in your weaknesses?
Yeah.
Are you presenting yourself and your strengths? And are you pouring into that person to lift them up according to what they need?
Yeah.
So my son, who's 5,
Okay.
I feel like he's all over the map
Okay.
sometimes. We thought, oh, he's going to be an engineer. He really likes to take things apart and put them back together. He loves trains. He's
Okay.
loved trains for the past 3 years. So he's some melancholy, but then his teacher this year has said that he's one of the 2 most social kids in his class.
Really?
That
Okay.
all the kids think he's their friend.
How sweet.
Sometimes when he comes home, we ask him, "Who'd you play with?" He'll have a name, and it'll be consistent for a little while, and then he'll say, "I didn't have anybody today," but like usually there's somebody there. And then he has these temper tantrums. On the way home last night, I was leaving work kind of late, and driving home, my wife was already at a restaurant with our kids. I found out later, and ended up inviting another friend with her kids.
Okay.
And so I just knew I was coming into something. I was not going into
You
a
weren't
lack
sure.
of stress situation.
Or harmony.
Or harmony. I was going into a stressful situation. But I didn't know completely what it was.
Okay.
She's just, my wife alluded to something big's happening. So I found out later what it was he just started yelling in the restaurant, and was getting angry and wanted my wife's attention. He had let her know that along the way, and she was trying to communicate to him, like, I'm gonna pay attention to you. I'm talking to my friend right now. Wait, basically.
Yeah.
And he didn't want any of that. So he started yelling. Then my 3-year-old also
So then it
started
just
yelling,
erupted.
wanted her as well.
Right.
So our friend took the 3-year-old away so my wife could
Okay.
work with our son.
Yeah. And those are great examples because that's where I'm talking about understanding it to the core. Because we could immediately think because he started yelling, he must be a red, or he's doing a tantrum of a yellow, right? But really what I heard in that story, the thread, was still very deeply blue because there's the order, right? Even the classroom setting is something that when a melancholy is in their strengths, which children are a lot, right? Just his politeness, just his, ability to just be there and be thoughtful has the appearance that he's very social because people are attracted to melancholies that are safe, right? But the fact is, you said he's named one name when you asked him. He didn't name, I can't, like my daughter would say, when she came home from school, I'd say, who did you play with? I had a new friend. In fact, I had 3. Who are they? Well, I don't know their names. I just know
They're my new best friends.
They're my new best
They're my new-
friends.
oh, yes.
Exactly. And even now, as a senior, she says the same thing, right? But he actually named a name. Do you see? So this is listening to understand. Okay, this is another really key point because most people listen to respond or answer or react. Halfway through of what they're listening, they're already forming something to say, right?
So good.
But if you listen to understand, you guys will also see that kind of thread that goes through your sweet, very melancholy boy with the order. The tantrum, this is again where I want you to be very good at listening to the words and how to apply them. The melancholy gets very frustrated, where the choleric gets very angry. Actually, the second one that gets the most angry is the sanguine, believe it or not. They're
Oh,
the
I believe
quickest
it.
to anger,
I believe
right,
it.
when they don't
Yeah.
get their way. But the melancholy, on the other hand, gets frustrated. And that's what it
Yeah.
sounded like he was getting at your
Yeah.
wife, was frustrated
The other
because he was
day-
not being heard.
That's right. The other day he was trying to do something impossible, basically.
Right.
Was what I was telling him. He was trying to put two trains together,
Mm-hmm.
link them together, and there was no link, and continued to get frustrated. And I was thinking he's getting angry. It was really frustration.
Yeah. Do you identify that with that?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, for
So
me
when
to get
you're not
angry,
being-
I've been frustrated for a while first.
Right,
Yeah.
right?
Wow.
And when
Absolutely.
you're not being heard, see, that's one of the melancholy things, is being heard and understood. So when you're constantly trying to be heard, have you
Sure.
felt that same frustration that he's talking about?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't, because I would be less likely to have a drive-through moment, like you've had, and much
Brought
more
it
likely
back.
to have a being frustrated to the point where that feels like the only option.
Or
yeah.
to just leave, right?
Yeah,
Like-
or just leave, right?
Yeah, that's it.
And I guess your son probably couldn't.
he couldn't just leave.
just
so-
leave.
No.
Yeah.
I'm just curious, what would you tell me about how to talk to a green person? If I want to motivate them and have them feel good about what they're doing, knowing that I'm red and would tend more toward being directive. And it sounds like it's not gonna work real well.
Has worked both
Always
ways.
go well. Even though I am green, I love having a boss who is red. She's
Interesting.
my favorite boss I've
Really?
ever had in my life.
Oh, wow.
Worked with her for 8 years, and
Wow.
I like her directness, but it's because there's so much of a relationship that's built on.
Oh.
So if you'll ask me, if you were my boss, if you'd ask me about my family, my kids,
Okay.
share with me even some thoughts in a respectful way, like not you're telling me what to do, but like, hey, this worked or didn't work when I was raising kids, and go there personally, then I'll be more
Wow.
bought in
That's really cool.
to hear from you professionally.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I love
Oh,
that.
wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we would go into one-on-ones without a big agenda.
Okay.
It was more, hey, what's on your mind, Jeremy? What did you want to talk about? And then she would have a few things
Got
on
it.
her list. So the beginning, it's kind of like, how are you doing? How's your family doing? And she would share with me about even what was going on in her family. So I felt trust from her, and
Okay.
I felt very loyal to her.
Wow.
Because
Okay.
it brought feeling of worth, respect,
Uh-huh.
lack of stress, right? Because if Leslie was your boss and she came into that one-on-one, okay, here's what we're going over, bullet point, bullet point, bullet point, bottom line. You got that?
No.
Here's the time frame. What would your response be?
I wouldn't be excited about the next one. Where I always came into these almost like this is going to be an encouraging, not counseling, but almost counseling, session of we're going to connect, and we're going to get things done in that at the same time.
So the things I heard you say are relationship first, and how would she demonstrate that she's for you, like in the work context of your work together?
I mean, she would go above and beyond for like schooling, education,
Got it.
supervising through that process. There was an interest she took in my career path
Got it.
beyond what I was currently doing.
Got it.
Which
Got
is
it.
extremely important from a phlegmatic, because their potential is great. But what we have to understand from that particular temperament is that, say the potential's a 10, they may go to an 8 and be perfectly content to stay at an 8. And it drives especially choleric parents ballistic, because you see the potential to 10 and you're like, why is he leaving all that on the table when they're perfectly content with it?
Wow.
So it's that understanding of, where that contentment's from, right? Where it sits, and then you being okay with that as well.
Wow.
Does that help with your coworker?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Do Greens advocate for themselves well?
So I think if I'm in my strengths, I can advocate
Okay.
for myself. I enjoy negotiating, and
Okay.
I enjoy achieving and looking for what's next. And until there are times in my life where I have gotten to that content place, I've been like, oh, I think I could see myself doing this for a lot of years.
Okay.
And I want to make it better and do better at it, but like not
Wow.
looking for the next thing.
That is so different from me, because almost as soon as I start moving toward the next milestone, I'm already looking for the exit ramp.
Exactly.
Because
Wow.
continuing like the routine managerial type of work is not at all life-giving to me. So I'm looking for who's good at that, who can step in behind me and carry it forward once
Right.
it's steady.
Right.
Because I just want to do the
Next
front
thing.
end.
Yeah,
You
and I
know?
want to go deep and for
Yeah,
a
no,
while.
not so much.
So do
that's
you
hard.
see-
That's burdensome for me. Yeah.
Do you see how you can just take a moment and ask the other temperament? Because they do see through a different lens. And literally, you're learning things, and you've probably been a boss and a coach and a leader to a lot of people
Yeah.
in your job.
For a long time.
This will
Probably badly.
literally.
Thanks for bringing that up.
No, I'm sure you are very respected. But do you see what I'm saying? But it will change it from this point on.
Yeah.
It will forever be different now.
Yeah.
Just by this little conversation you had with Jeremy,
Yeah.
right?
Message.
I'm going to ask you a question on behalf of both Andrew and I, because we're both thinking it. How do we tell you when you're too much?
Listen, it is words.
What words
I'm gonna tell you.
really, what's literally the words
Yeah.
that we could say, because we do not
Yeah.
do anything that's going to hurt somebody else's feelings. For
sure.
Like, we will take it, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And take it, but we're in the car going, oh my God, they drive
Yeah.
me crazy today.
Oh, I know
right?
exactly.
So what words could we do to say, you know?
I think it hits maybe two of my innate needs.
Okay.
It is approval and acceptance.
Okay.
If you could validate those two first. Hey, I like the person that you are.
Okay.
I accept you for who you are. I've invited you into my world.
Okay.
Then make it personal. Don't make it about me, make it about you. Oh my gosh, that sounds so horrible.
No, we're asking
But
you.
it's true.
We're asking you.
It's, hey, I'm overwhelmed by you right now. Not, you are overwhelming. Like,
Right.
does that mean, I don't know if that makes
No,
sense at all, but,
Yeah, and I think that's what we would do
hey,
naturally.
I'm
anyway.
overwhelmed right now.
That's what we would do naturally.
I'm feeling,
Yeah.
you know, and if you know, can you maybe help me with that? And then I'm a helper, so I'm automatically gonna lean in. I'm gonna be like, what can
Okay.
I do? Whatever
So-
you need.
So we're almost asking for help to get away from you. Like, please help me get you to calm down.
That's exactly right.
Listen.
Yes.
That's it.
Because here's the
That just
the
took me
reason
out
I
of the game,
asked that- that's why the reason I asked was because of his story with Garrett. Is because
Oh, yeah, okay, well, there you go.
melancholies, you know, when we're doing work, we really would rather not be interrupted.
Yeah.
Because then we have to start all the way at the top again and go from the beginning. So, you know, if you were to be coming into Andrew's office, you know, and talking and
Hey,
telling
get some
stories,
coffee.
even though you're his boss, right? I would like him to know, how would he address that with
really
you?
cool.
Yeah.
And say, you know, would you mind knocking, or, you know, hey, everything about this, I really am overwhelmed
Hey, I'm in
with
the middle of
this, or-
concentrating on something. Can I
Exactly.
come see you in 20 minutes when I finish what I'm doing?
Yeah. Yeah. Look at
Would
you
that be
talking,
okay?
Melancholy.
Sounds good.
Oh, that's great.
Yes, but not that stern though.
Yeah.
Oh, see?
That wasn't
You
stern.
have to start with a compliment. I appreciate you checking on me.
I mean, asking the question
Yeah,
is
there you go.
appreciate you
I
checking
love,
on me.
I
there.
love that. I love what you're talking about. I can't wait to hear about this. Can I come see you in 20 minutes when I finish what I'm
It's a
focused
lot
on?
nicer. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Just kidding.
Wow.
No, but that tone
That's some
immediately
heavy
like,
lifting.
So you even
Yeah.
just had an
Yeah.
aha moment too.
It was.
Because
I was
you
like-
you just went out of both into two other lenses
Well,
that you
yeah.
weren't even.
Yeah.
Because what's honest
Made
is
an
what
ugly
you
orange.
said wasn't
It
bad.
wasn't, it wasn't red or yellow.
Yeah. The honest truth is, what you said wasn't bad. It literally was only the tone, and I didn't really remember what you said because I got so overwhelmed by your tone.
Really?
Yeah, but when I
Okay,
look
then.
back, I'm like, oh, I'm being sensitive. What you said actually was good. I was like,
So see,
it.
it's even the choice of the words.
Yeah.
That's why I'm asking you to pause, because I want you to be so aware of the words you use.
so good.
Because they may not go into the heart of the person you're speaking to. Remember, each word is a gift, right?
Yeah.
So look at this. You're talking with each other, which is really what I want. I really want everybody to get to a place where you feel comfortable leaning into somebody. I really would rather the temperaments not be a secret. I would rather
Yeah.
you say, I see you're wired differently than me. Help me by doing something, right?
Wow, yeah.
And you're doing so good at this. This is something that you can do even with strangers. I mean, we've talked a lot about people we already have relationships with, but people are going to be put in your path today. And God is a God of perfect order and timing, so each one has been strategically put to cross your path. You know, nobody's a coincidence. Even the person that's the checkout person at Publix, right? So I'm going down the Publix checkout line, and it's a girl behind the counter, and I have a choice at that moment. I have a fork in the road at that very moment to choose wholesome words and to make a choice of how I'm going to behave and what I'm going to do. So I say, hey, how's your day going? And she goes, oh my gosh, my day's going great. I'm going to Athens this weekend. A group of my girlfriends are going to get together. You know, I think she's going to get engaged. It's going to be so much fun. What is she?
Yellow.
Right. So
I got
just
excited.
in that, how are you doing today? Look at the answer I got. I'm at a fork in the road. I can choose my strengths. I can get out of my own way, and I can say, wow, that is fun. All those girlfriends together in one place, you are going to have an amazing time. That's going to be so much fun. And having girlfriends like that, what a blessing that is, right?
Yeah.
And she's going to be, you were even like, yeah,
I know.
right?
I'm like,
right?
Look at her light up.
Okay, now I choose to stay selfish. And I say, really? You're driving all the way to Athens today? Did you see the weather? It is going to be stormy. I don't even think that's safe. You girls aren't going to be drinking, are you? You know, right? That's me in my very blue, right?
Right.
And what did I do?
yeah, that's so
She's crushed, right?
I love the example you just gave. So that's what you're talking about when you're saying fill the gray space?
Yes.
Yeah.
So take yourself out of your
And go
temperament
meet them at
and go
theirs.
meet them in their temperament.
Look through
where
a
they're
different
at.
lens
Yeah.
Right.
and remember that it's a choice.
So let me ask you what Kathleen just asked. Who are you curious about? You already know enough to figure out the temperament of most people in your life. What are their strengths? What words do you hear them saying a lot? How do they react on a tough day? Once you know their temperament, it's like you have a cheat sheet. You know the innate needs of their temperament, so you can do what Paul suggested. Speak according to their needs. You can choose to translate your words into their language. I've learned how to do that when my wife needs some space. I'm wired to want to work it out right away, to fix the problem, talk it over, and make a plan now. But I know my wife, who's a blue, she needs time to process. So I translate my words. Now I say, I can tell you're upset, so I'm going to give you some space. But I'm going to come back later and we'll talk it out. I still say what I mean, just in a way that considers her needs. Thinking about temperament will for sure help the words you say, but the piece that may really be life-changing is how it helps the words you hear. Because once you know someone's temperament, you know how they'll react when their needs aren't filled. The manipulating words we talked about last time explain so many relational dynamics. Your colleague's moodiness or your dad's tough tone. Knowing God wired them that way makes it easier to understand those reactions and give them a little bit of grace. That's what happened in my friend's marriage. She's yellow and comes from a big, loud, yellow family. Her husband is blue. So picture family gatherings with her side. Lots of people, lots of noise, no particular plan. It was bad for him. For years, they fought over every family get-together until their temperaments made sense of the whole thing. Understanding why it was so hard for him to hang with her outgoing family meant she could stop taking his reaction personally. He liked her family. He was just wired to need space and silence. What was a source of conflict is now a chance to consider each other's needs. And listen, they still have to talk through it when it's time to head home for the holidays, but understanding the why behind their reaction gives them a little bit more grace for each other. There are situations like that in every relationship, every friendship, and every office. So we hope this week you'll give it a shot, that you'll figure out the temperament of at least someone else in your life and see if adjusting the words you speak, even just a little, doesn't, like Paul said, benefit all.